Hi, everyone. Welcome to She Rises Stories of Resilience Global Conference, a groundbreaking event where the world's most inspiring entrepreneurs come together to ignite your passion and drive. Join us for electrifying conversations and riveting stories from visionary men and women who have redefined their lives and businesses with extraordinary resilience and purpose. Experience firsthand how these remarkable individuals have triumphed over adversity, sparking innovation and compassion to create transformative insights and profound impact. This is your chance to be inspired, empowered, and transformed. I'm your host for this event, Kelly Boyer, and today I'm excited to present SOLARA'S. SOLARA'S is liquid radiance in human form. She has the rare ability to entrance, whip smart, spiritually adept, and highly impactful magical people into reaching life-altering levels that even they were unable to fully envision as possible for themselves or believe themselves capable of. One timeless, immaculate moment in SOLARA'S field inevitably leads to the most extraordinary, luxurious thing an individual can experience in a lifetime: divine identity mastery within a brave, breathtaking new world of all their own making. SOLARA'S clients step away from her miracle matrix fully expressed in genius, dripping with success, exquisitely powered to share their beauty, brilliance, and gifts with the world. And today we're going to be talking about unveiling supernatural greatness. SOLARA, I'm so excited to have you here. Thank you for joining all of us on Stories of Resilience. It's such a pleasure to have you be here.
Oh my goodness, so grateful to be here in the space with you and with our beloved communities and to, yeah, just immerse in presence together and see all the jewels and gems that wish to come forward.
Oh, I love it. And with that being said, could you share your story of where you started and how you came to be?
Yes, well, it's quite an involved story, so I'm going to do my best to synthesize the most potent aspects and just give a generalized overview. But beginning at a very, very young age, there were a lot of catalytic experiences in my life. There was abuse and violence in the home for my youth and adult life. And I carried those patterns with me, of course, into my adulthood and my early years. And, a lot of self-inflicted suffering as a result of, what I believe that most of us experience as, unless we were fortunate enough to have super conscious parents. Most of us grew up in a household where there was some unconsciousness that was happening. It just happened to be incredibly augmented in my world. And so, you know, coming into a space where also just a lot of death and loss in my life of close loved ones, people I cared about deeply, my first partner, a lot of really challenging situations. When I was in my senior year of high school, I actually gained 100 pounds. So I was always in a normalized weight range. And there was so much dissonance and discord in the space, and my being didn't know how to process it. And so I went for the temporary gratification and to suppress, really, is what was happening. I was suppressing my emotions. So I gained 100 pounds. So I had many things occurring for me: physically, mentally, emotionally, psycho-spiritually. Brought those patterns with me into my early 20s and really into my late 20s, early 30s. And through that journey, some other really incredibly powerful events took place in my life that shaped my being, that catalyzed awakenings, that compelled me to begin to clean up and clarify my life, my being, my world, my relationships, my belongings, from the inside out, a complete rewiring fundamentally of my being, my energy, and consciousness, because I began to connect the dots. Okay, all of these things are taking place in my outer world, and it's all reflective of a state of being and consciousness that I have perpetuated within myself. Now, albeit all of us adopt certain ways of being and feeling and thinking from our environment, our culture, our familial lineage, all of this, but ultimately it's up to us to come home to our power to really re-engineer the script. And so so when I was young, I had pronounced psychic awareness and really just a capacity to read and discern energy is really all we're talking about. And so I was acutely aware of what the sensation of pure divine love felt like and what it did not. And so, as you can imagine, in the world that most of us are born into, it was a lot. It was a lot to be in a space to have such deep, subtle, nuanced sensitivity to the truth and to be immersed in things that were discordant with that truth. And well, how do I be with that? How do I operate in this world? How do I hold my own and hone my craft and my skills internally? So I began that process of really going deep within and becoming profoundly self-aware. Even as I move through my days, what narrative am I engaging and entertaining right now? What am I focused on? What am I, investing my attention in? Where am I placing my energy? Things like that. And started to really just rewire myself from the inside out. And from that, profound transformation, profound creations were birthed in the world. So now I can serve other beautiful beings in a very practical, embodied way because I have lived through really some of the greatest challenges of the human experience. And I've learned how to not only reverse those, but crystallize the most beautiful life that is beyond what I could have, even in my youth, the things that I would dream of and fantasize about, even beyond that. And so, yeah, here to share that wisdom and support as many hearts and souls as I possibly can.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I can relate to having that life of abuse and then, all the way in from it kind of like from infancy all the way into my adulthood and being highly sensitive, trying to move through that and not understanding, when you're highly sensitive, you have an idea, no, I'm going to say not an idea. You have a knowing of really what the world is. And you said that, having that unconditional divine love. And then, but you're living in this world that is almost like completely the opposite. And how difficult that is to, just to navigate those challenges, or most importantly, just to be who you are. So, I thank you for highlighting that because I feel like a lot of people have that experience, whether it's abuse or whatever it is. They're navigating a world where their sensitivity doesn't align with like the chaos and the unsensitivity of the world, right?
Yeah.
But my favorite part that you said is living every day and just kind of checking in with your own narrative of where you're at. And, a lot of times we talk about, taking care of yourself first. And,
Mhm.
it's okay to like focus on yourself first. And I feel like what you said is really what we're talking about when we talk about taking care of yourself first. It's not
Yes.
from an egoic sense. It's really from a sense of self-love.
Yeah.
So, I love that. That's beautiful. And I think that's amazing that you live every single day like that. Like you are living proof of really what it means to just live in your authenticity. So I commend you for that.
Oh, thank you. And I have my moments too. I'm still divine human on this holy earth, but I am very devoted at the level of an Olympian athlete, like inner work every single, and I don't call it play work, but it's really, and I think this is really valuable to bring forward too, because there are a lot of divisional narratives that have us look at, is it okay to take care of ourselves? Is that a selfish thing to do if we're not putting others first? It's, like give to the point of overextending and wearing ourselves out. And I just would love to remind us that love is an all-inclusive, all-encompassing force. And we either tend to go to the extreme where we take any focus off of our, nourishing our own well-being and we place it on caring for everybody else, or we're so overly focused on caring for this and we're not balancing that with really nourishing the people around us who we love. And so it's really about creating a balance between both. We're included in that picture. And that's, the nature of thriving really is a coherent balance in all things. So, it really ensuring that we nourish ourselves so that we can be in our ultimate capacity to serve others from a really pure and true place, and not from overextending or an attempt to be loved through the giving, etc.
Yes. Oh, I love that. It's that it that is like that's 100% true. Like we do live in a world where it's like we have to think of others first and we have to ignore the importance of ourselves. And I've always kind of used the analogy, especially because that's part of what resilience is, right? So I always use the analogy that, every time that you ignore yourself and you give, your bucket just keeps filling up and eventually it's going to tip over. And the tipping over is to remind you to come back to who you are,
Yeah.
because you can't help other people until you help yourself, right?
Right.
Until you're in
Right.
alignment and I mean truly loving who you are every single day. So I love that you brought that up, because now we're talking about how, honestly, how we help ourselves to give to others, right? So, can you just explain a little bit about how you guide individuals in transcending their own, their own limited self to fully just embody their ultimate nature?
Yeah. And so this is another differentiation in this space that is so powerful, and was just sharing a conversation with my beloved earlier today about this. I'd say one of the things that is most draining of our life force is divided, dual, and distracted attention. There's so many sparkly, shiny things. It's like, what do I look at next? Where do I go? What do I focus on? And we drain ourselves because our attention is fragmented in time on people, places, things, events, experiences. We're not fully present. And in the here and now is where the fullness of our electromagnetic life force, energy, and power resides. So when our attention is fully here and now, and our attention is on the nature of the supreme self. So this is the difference between small self, lowercase s self-absorption, which I would, by the world's definitions, although I wouldn't utilize this terminology because it's a little bit harsh to me, but small self-absorption versus capital S infinite self-absorption. We tend to focus on I, me, myself, what's happening in my world, what's happening in my relationships, what's happening in my health, my finances, et cetera, et cetera. And that can create an immensity of self-inflicted suffering. Now, when we shift our point of focus to the exploration, the contemplation, the reflection upon the nature of our supreme being, who am I in ultimate truth? We just lean back and take a panoramic view of infinity, go, who am I as other? Other not being separate from me and other being one, being the same. So to love another is to love myself. To love myself is also to love another. Who am I as nature, as creation, as the earth, the cosmos, my environment, all that is. And we start to shift our attention to a deeper and more profound awareness of who we actually are as infinite, eternal, pervasive divine love. Who am I? Who am I as that energy? And so it really shifts us into a more productive and fertile, expansionary, energetically liberating space of self-realization and cultivation of that awareness, versus being in the contracted, small, finite self-concept. And so a huge part of it is contemplation on the nature of the supreme self, to focus truth, to focus destiny, to focus the ultimate nature of who we are and who we be. And, I really learned this because there was a lot of, we'll just say, data and information coming at me that was not the truth, right? Like when I was young, and a lot of us have this beautiful, holy, sacred dream. And I just also want to state that my family and I have the most stunning, gorgeous, heartwarming relationship with one another now. We've resolved the totality, and like my parents are my best friends. And the but growing up, there was a lot of them feeling disconnected from their inner source. And by virtue of them feeling disconnected from their inner source, they were showing up out of coherence with their own true essence. And so how they felt about themselves was what they were projecting upon to my being. And when you're young, it's like there's some degree of internalization that happens. I'm receiving these reflections, like, is there something wrong with me? Did I do something? Like, we start to populate our own consciousness with these notions and ideas and concepts, and we feel it, and we think that we've done something, and so I had to master the ability to be my own best friend, ally, and cheerleader. And the way that I did that was I started to tell myself the absolute truth of my being. This is who I am. This is how love sees me. This is how love feels about me. And I am not allowing any other information to enter into my being. So I made a clear decision. I started to cultivate that energy, and it profoundly shifted my focus and gave me this beautiful ability then to now augment, enhance, ignite that same truth and wisdom in other beings. So focusing on what is real, what is eternal, what is everlasting, what is true.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So, you know, when you turn to yourself and you're really focusing on your absolute truth, was that easy? Was that hard for you? Was that what was that journey like in all in itself?
Oh my goodness, my years and years and years of practicing like grit, stamina, resilience to learn how to filter the noise and distill the pristine clarity of the one that I am, that we are. And still to this day, I mean, I would say that the biggest thing for me in daily life is like, you establish that inner pillar of absolute truth, and then there's that ultimate clarity. And so you're able to hyper discern information and recognize where it's coming from, and then to go even a layer deeper than that, to recognize if it's not love, it is a yearning to recollect that love. So beyond discernment, then even a great empathy is born, because now we're filtering and discerning truth from non-truth, but then we're also able to provide the non-truth with empathy, with compassion, with reminders, all of that. And it requires a certain degree of fortitude, devotion, commitment to really distill purely prolific intelligence into our being, and to not entertain or engage or give our attention to anything else. It's a high level of mastery. And it's also our organic state of being at the same time, which is such a paradox.
We definitely live in a paradoxical world. With
Yes, indeed, we do.
um,
Indeed.
um, and this is my mind. I'm like, to me, the fact that we live in such paradoxes all day long, it's a little bit entertaining to me because
Yeah,
you know.
it is. It's, yep. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, I wanna ask you about you know, I know that you've talked about before divine identity mastery. So I
Yes.
really would love for you to explain to everybody what that entails, and how does achieving this mastery really help people to just break through personal and societal barriers?
Yes. This is beautiful. So, identity, such a fascinating topic of discussion unto itself, because our supreme being has no defined identity. It is unconditional, limitless love, bliss, harmony, accord. It is formless. It is thoughtless. It is literally the pervasive resonance of love. And that's, the interconnected, illuminated sphere of being. And in this dimensional reality, as living artisans, we have chosen to come in with these faculties, this capacity to really sculpt our existence into being via the light of awareness that is our consciousness, and how we resonate and feel in our somatic body. I mean, these are our primary tools that shape our reality. And So and we are always out picturing, our reality is an extension. It is a living extension of what is happening in here. And we out picture, we manifest who we feel and know ourselves to be. And so if our identity is associated with a certain role that we have in life, a title, even mother, father, teacher, any of these things, if it's associated with things or locations or places, all of those things are very transient and temporary. They're not going to be the eternal truth of us. We might inhabit them for time and have fun, you know, being and embodying those aspects of our essence that are really exquisitely beautiful, but they're not the ultimate everlasting truth of us. Now, our divine identity is when we open into the boundlessness of our being. So beyond these confining boundaries and barriers that we construct for ourselves in these finite small roles that we adopt, but looking at who am I forever, the eternal flame and light of my soul that lives on from incarnation to incarnation as the form changes. Who am I at the most true core fundamental level? Who am I as that light, as that love, as limitlessness? You know, if you've ever experienced the passing of a loved one, there's a distinct moment when you can feel the soul, the essence, the life, the animating principle leave the form and return into the source field of limitless bliss before it chooses another experience. It's a very palpable, distinct sensation. And so that animating principle, to know ourselves at that level, at that depth, beyond form, beyond physicality, at the level of spirit and soul, and identifying with that, because that is what we will be and what we will have forever, no matter what shifts in the temporal world of forms, whatever rises and falls, what comes and goes, what changes and even our human body, we're transforming trillions of times per second. We're, constantly regenerating cells and becoming brand new. And so the physicality is very much temporary. So we're looking at, on an infinite grand scale, who am I as that? And can I find that which is permanent within that which is temporary to be my stability, my security, my safety, my ground, my anchor, where I can dance in the dance of form with joyfulness and fun. And if something happens to shift, my identity doesn't crumble with it. Because if you've ever, if you're listening to this, you've experienced profound life transformations. And when we go through profound life transformations, it can feel like we're falling off the edge of the universe. We can't grasp who we are. It's like where am I? Who am I? What's happening? What's going to happen? There can be these points of great instability in our being as we navigate those transformative expansionary spaces while our consciousness expands. This is the one permanent thing that we have that we can successfully, joyfully, eternally identify with, that is always going to be true and that is not ever going to leave us, that is eternal, unchanging, indomitable, everlasting. And so that is the divine identity mastery that I teach and share.
Wow, like that is incredibly profound. You're really teaching the deep rooted essence of who we are as just beings. Oh, that's incredible. Oh, I love it. So you know what? So that leads me into my next question. So in your view, what does resilience mean in the context of divine identity?
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of explain a little bit more of how you help individuals really cultivate this quality like within themselves, because
Yeah.
what you just shared was so profound. Now we really need to know detail and how you do that. That's incredible. Oh, I love
Yeah.
it.
Well, it's a moment to moment thing. It's like wake up, hop in a cold shower, open the eyes. Here I am. It's me in infinity. It's me in love. I'm fully on board. I'm online. I'm present. I'm here and now. I'm not entertaining thoughts of the past and future. I'm just in communion with my divine self here and now. And so I would say that the resilience of life we often attribute to a physical resilience, although the physical resilience arises from a resilience in consciousness, a resilience in knowing what to focus on, what to pay attention to, being so deeply immersed in the here and now, which is what we call flow. And I've been blessed to have Stephen Kotler is one of the most renowned neuroscientists on our planet. And so I've studied and trained with him directly because I wanted to, I'm having these experiences and I trust in them implicitly. But to have that neuroscience is something that's always been so fun for me. So years ago, I began to mentor with him and engage in his programs. And this is what they teach in flow. It's like timeless, effortless, richness, selfless meaning free from the small self into the flow of the supreme self. These are the four phenomenological characteristics of a flow state. So selfless, I'm beyond myself in this moment. I'm focused on the nature of the supreme self. Timeless, I'm fully here. I'm fully now. I've relinquished notions of past and future. Effortless, I'm just engaged in that which is non-resistant, is light, is graceful, is easeful in my being. And richness in that space, a richness of divine brilliance and creative, innovative ideas and energy starts to pour through us. We're empty of ourselves so that our true self can fill us. So it's a resilience in one, creating the inner space for that intelligence, that pure light to flow forth and exude from our chalice, and also a resilience in consciousness. And the way that I do that is through gratitude. So if I notice myself, it's beginning to go down a stream, we all have loops, right, from our history that they're just automatically running. So the moment that you catch the loop, I go directly to thank you. Thank you, love. Thank you, life. Thank you, self. And I just start saying thank you for everything that I can think of, everything that I'm calling forth. I just go into like a full-on gratitude stream. And I actually, as I move through life, that's the state that I have become accustomed to occupying. And I'll say that I live there 95 to 97% of the time in that space of pure gratitude. And then the rest of the time, I'm still, I'm catching myself and like, okay, wait a second, we gotta calibrate, refine, polish this space. And how beautiful, because it just is another opportunity to master another aspect of ourselves and in our world. And I have found that resiliency and praise, resiliency from a consciousness directed into praise, is one of the most elegant, simple, universal practices we can all apply. It doesn't matter how self-aware you are, how enlightened you feel that you are, because I believe we're all enlightened. It's just a matter of remembering that is so. Anybody can apply this in their here and now, starting here and now, and revolutionize their entire life. Gratitude is like the ultimate golden key. Thank love, start to praise the presence of love that is operating everywhere. And your world, what we appreciates, will start to effervescently blossom in the most spectacular ways in every single area. Thank your loved ones, thank your wealth, thank your health, thank your home temple, thank love, thank life. Just start giving thanks for everything. And so resilience and praise.
Oh my gosh, I love that resiliency into praise. I mean that truly does sum everything up. And I hope it's okay. I'm gonna start using that now because
Yeah,
so
please.
it is so beautiful and so true, and any, with however your journey is. Oh, yep. I'm like, I just stole that term from you. Thank you. But it's amazing. I really like.
Yeah, share the wealth. I mean, this is what could you imagine? I think some of the greatest challenges that we face in every initiation, every struggle, every hardship that we have in our lives, it's all teaching us how to love, to expand our capacity for love, every single thing. And sometimes we have, it's like we can't quite get over ourselves to bring ourselves to bow to the heart of another, to the heart of life. And so then we go through these challenging experiences where we're humbled and we learn to love at a greater capacity. We can just pick it up and run with it now. and start giving thanks, we don't have to learn the challenging way. We just be that love, we be that appreciation, and things flourish. It's just, oh, it's so simple and yummy.
It is. You nail it. It is so simple. And I love that. So yummy because it's true. And we live in a world that's I feel like all of the beliefs and the conditioning that we often take on as being our own, or that's who we are, it really does overcomplicate exactly what you said. Just the simplicity of just love in general. Like, you love yourself. Like, it was so funny when you were naming all those things. I'm like, oh my gosh, I tell my animals every day how much I love them.
Yes, and they're probably so happy.
Oh gosh, they are. And it's like the moment that I say that, I know that I'm exuding and sending those frequencies to them. And they reciprocate it back. And I always think, oh my, like this is pure love. Like, your animal, like my dogs and my cats, they don't judge me. They just for who I am. I mean, they may love me a little bit more because I feed them and I pet them, but it's just, it's true. And if we can, and a lot of times I say, if we could just take that love and, like, not only put it to, like, for ourselves, and we really put it out in the world, like, nobody will know anything else other than that.
That's absolutely right. And it's like, as human beings, just speak into this really quickly, our greatest challenge is with other human beings because they're not always as sweet and loving and lick your face, warm and cozy and delicious as pets, as animals, as nature is to us. There's things that come at us. And so to really cultivate the things that come at us until we refine our inner world, and then those things dissolve. But to cultivate our capacity to be love anyways, no matter what, to keep going, to not respond, to not get drawn into that energy. This is where you can just be in if each of us can be in our own integrity, just show up as love over and over and over again, no matter what, it births a strength and a nobility of character that is unwavering. I trust myself to show up as love, just like I do with my animals, just like I do when I'm in nature, with all beings at all times. I don't need them to love me, but I am devoted to loving them. You drop that need because that's where the response comes. When we're just shocked that they're not loving us because they haven't mastered that love within themselves yet. We can let that go and have empathy and go, okay, this isn't about me, but what is about me is how I choose to show up. And so I'm going to continue to be love. You just keep doing that, and all of that conflicting energy will start to just completely vaporize from your existence. And it will become that pervasive love that we're talking about here.
Yes, that need to not have to have them, honestly love you back, because
Oh,
I almost find it, when we are in that space of just truly just showing up as we are, that love, that unconditional love that we are, it's almost impossible for those people to not love you back,
yeah.
because that's the frequency that's the frequency that we are giving, that we're giving to them. And, um, like I said, you know, it's like almost impossible for them to not love you. Like, they
Yeah.
really have to fight that, that vibration.
Right. They'd have to be in some like deep resistance patterns for that to happen. And truly to come to the, if we can look at everybody through the lens of a child and recognize that when beings come at us in that way or present themselves to us as anything other than their higher self, it's because there's a deep fundamental sensation within them that they are not enough, that they're not enough, that they don't have enough, et cetera, et cetera. And so if we can be powerful and strong enough to remind them that you are perfect, whole, holy, and complete exactly as you are enough. Even if they resist us, I've had people resist me on this and it just boggles my mind because I wish somebody would have told me this when I was young. You are enough. No, I need to be better. You cannot improve upon perfection, but you can love it and celebrate it and bloom in a powerful way from that foundation. I've had these conversations with beautiful beings who I cherish, but you just recognize that it's really about how they feel about themselves. It has nothing ultimately to do with you. Except this is the paradox within this one. If you internalize it and make it mean something about your value as a person, now you're engaging in that dance with them. They don't feel like they're enough, and then now you don't feel like you're enough, and then we get into these, battles with one another. But if you can recognize that that's where that stems from in another being, and you can be the shining force of love in their lives, in their world, they'll ultimately come around.
Yes, yes, I wholeheartedly agree with that. And that really is part of the healing journey, right? Of not turning into the chameleon of the people that are around you.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, yeah, that's it. Okay.
yeah, and a lot of, and the reason we turn into those chameleons is because we want them to love us. We want to turn, like we want to please them, and so we do oftentimes whatever their qualities are, we take that on, and then we walk away, and then we're taking on, we become the chameleon again, and we take those on,
Mm,
and ultimately by the end of the day, who who is that person that I call I, right? That
right.
is me, and it can be so hard, and then now you've got all this stuff and you have to like do all that and untangling of all of that. But in because that does encompass like really dedicating and being really I'm going to say responsible and accountable for your healing. When you are working with other individuals, are there common themes that you often see in their healing journey of those who come to seek your help?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that most people well, there's two primary people come to me because they want to be in the full embodied mastery of their source self. So this, what we're really sharing about here is how do I make my number one focus priority, all the things, living in integrity with my source self, no matter what. How do I be so solid and so strong and anchored in that space within myself? So the full embodiment of who we are in absolute truth. And then my work has actually shifted much out of, I wouldn't consider it healing, because as the divine, we are already healthy, whole, and healed. And that perception is what actually allows the harmonic to take place in our system. That is what the healing is. So we could easily call harmony healing. So the most simple, elegant way to shift and transform our state of being and really our health and everything is to cultivate and practice the frequency of harmony in the body. It'll resolve everything. So cellular accord harmony is our healing. We have that as an established foundation. And then we really realize, like, wow, this whole thing is an extension of me. My consciousness is the paintbrush of my existence. How I feel and resonate in my somatic body is what crystallizes experiences in my world. It literally shifts and transforms the people in my life. It's giving, like, the music of my being is giving rise to the physicality of my life, which is energy vibrating into form. So we really start to play in the space of pure creation. So it's like, how do I exercise my divine will? And there's all these questions around what is free will, what is my agency, how am I actually creating on a grand scale? These, like, deeper and more expansionary kind of metaphysical existential questions start to come up because people are at very advanced stages of their self-awareness. And it's like, okay, now that I've started to liberate my human potential and come into pure power, like, what is my majesty to shape and mold my existence as the oneness of love? And so we start to play in those spaces. And so it's just like, what came to me a couple of years ago is like that I'm an infinity oracle. Like, literally, you can come to me and ask me anything in the realm of the absolute, the nature of the eternal, the infinite, and how to actually apply it in our lives to experience the delicacies and the outcomes and the beauty of what this is, of who we are. And we can go anywhere. So people tend to, just to have access, to have kind of like a right hand woman, infinity oracle in their back pocket. And so, yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yes. Oh my gosh. Um I think the most amazing thing is our ability to really create anything and everything that we want in that space of infinity, right? Like it's already there for us.
Yeah, it's
And
all here now.
it's all right here. Sometimes when I'm working with people or when I'm talking to them and they start talking about their difficulties and they start talking about what they want, I'm like, why don't you just grab it? It's right there.
Uh-huh.
Just reach out and grab it. But you're right. It is about coming into your own harmony, your own harmonic resonance to be able to have that. So that's beautiful um that you're able to really help people find that sense of harmony within themselves, which
Mhm.
you know, we say it's simple, and like other people are like, it's so hard. And we're like, it's really not. You can do this. It's
Yeah.
such a beautiful thing. And it really does all come back down to that, to just loving yourself as you are.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, like there's like a tiny little delay over here. So I'm like,
yeah.
mm.
Um, so okay, so after you just work with other people and you just instill that magic and brilliance in them, for them to discover their own magical I'm like magic and brilliance. In what ways do you see them really using that, I'll say, newly discovered brilliance to impact the world?
Oh yeah, beautiful question. So I have just such a wide range of clientele, and I 90% of the people that I work with have go through world shifts, meaning that every single aspect, because they're doing such profound, deep inner transformative artisanal work, that that internal shift shifts their entire lives. I've had people marry their beloved, shift into homes like on their dream homes on the water, shift out of regular jobs into fulfilling their legacy on this planet and being in their artistry, being in their genius, being in their mastery. So people tend to go through entire world shift. So it's powerful, profound. It's a midwifing journey, and we're there having a ball all along the way. And it's a potent container of love because we all know what it's like to go through a world shift. It's like all the magic and the glory and the goodness, and it's a world shift. So we navigate those spaces. And the bulk of my clientele are actually leaders who are creating profound systemic change in our world. So we're looking at the revolutionizing the economical, political, agricultural, societal structures of humanity and what that looks like. So engineering homes of the future, currencies of the future. So working with people who are having a pervasive impact in their field to be embodied in pure consciousness and self-recognition, so that that pure intelligence emanates through what they're creating, because it is the new architecture of this new earth. And we want that to be as pristine, clear, and pure as possible, because as we know, whatever we create is a reflection of us, our energetics, our integrity with source. And so working with these beautiful beings who are building communities and really in the actual crystallization and unfoldment of these changes on our planet is so deeply fun and valuable to me, because they're the ones who have to be calibrated the most for the integrity of source to translate through these creations for the birth of a new world.
You have a beautiful role that you came here to play, in how you're just really helping us just evolve into to the highest degree. So wow,
Mhm.
I'm like, when you said that, it kind of made it like, I said it kind of because I was like, no, don't get emotional. But
Oh, let it flow. Yeah.
is very emotional because it really does impact all of us on like the most profound level, just as the collective of whole, just bringing us really into that freedom of like I'm getting, I'm sorry, I think it's just so beautiful. And that's a big role to say that I'll do that. So I have a lot of admiration for you in regards
No.
to that, because um not many people would take that on. You know what I mean? Like you said, you genuinely said yes to that, and you're doing that. So I have so much love for that. Thank you, because um you're right. I'm like, the people that you're truthfully showing them their, like, what they came here to be, is really creating and making the way for such a beautiful world. And the truth is that it really is already here. We just have to start saying, like, or stepping into it. And you're helping make the way for that. So, so much gratitude for that. Thank you. I'm like, oh, my
So
heart.
beautiful. Yeah, thank you. This is like such a beautiful, like just transmission of the divine through you as it always is. And I'm honoring you, honoring me, honoring we, honoring divinity and intelligence itself, because it is so valuable and important, because and my driving force has been like, I know how I grew up. I know how so many of us grew up, and we spent our adult lives unwinding that to clarify our vision, to unwind those cellular imprints, just to come home to our essence. Like, who would I have been if I were just able to be free in my essence as my true being and nature and self? And what does that even feel like? And how do we create a world truly where our children and their children and their children get to just enter into the space of pure consciousness? And that has been my drive. I am creating that for us, because we all deserve to be living and experiencing that. Our parents did, and our grandparents did, and we are the ones who actually have to bring it home. And so the devotion is deep and it's eternal, and we're doing it together.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Yes, we are doing that together. And that's what makes, that's really what I call the capital O in oneness is, right? Just really doing it all together in oneness with just the same, I hate to say goal in mind, but it really is like, we just want
Yeah.
to live in just peace and harmony, and most importantly in love. So thank you for, thank you for just saying yes to that, you know.
Mm. Yeah.
So it's beautiful. So, oh my gosh, you have shared so much beautiful, impactful, and so much wisdom and inspiration today. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask you this question. Do you have anything else that you want to share? Any messages? Any other wisdom? Um,
You're just like the sweetest. I wish I could just reach through the screen and give you a hug. You're just like this adorable bundle of joy. And so I thank you for the purity of your heart and your being. And to everyone who's here sharing presence with us in this beautiful space today, I'm going to keep it so elegantly simple. The most empowering, the most powerful, effective, useful, enriching, soul satiating thing that we can focus on in our lives is to know thyself, to know the truth of thyself. As we focus upon the truth of ourselves, as we inquire into the truth of ourselves, we become engendered with the frequencies of that focus. We emanate them into our world, and we transform our world from the inside out. And really, the art of manifestation is the art of self-recognition and embodying the true divine self. We're manifesting who we are. And so the more that we know ourselves, resonate ourselves in truth, we manifest a world of our divinity, which is really the creme de la creme that we're all looking to experience. So if we can take the focus off the people, places, things, and focus on the truth of our nature, all the other things come automatically in ways that surpass what you can even fathom possible. I have people offer me $250,000 to immerse with them for a week of presence in a tropical paradise. Because that's the profundity of the frequency of knowing thyself and resonating, and our wholeness is that energy. I am whole, I am complete, I am satisfied, marveling at the infinite grand beauty and masterpiece of existence that I am. That is enough. I am enough. We are enough. Saturate there, and everything else that occupies your mind will automatically start to resolve itself. So that is the final piece of wisdom. And just thank you so, so, so deeply much for us and our family and everyone who's sharing this journey here with us, and truly everyone, because we are one united family and one pure, pervasive divine being and consciousness. And we are forever that one, forever that love. And so just, sending out magnificent blessings to the whole self. Mm.
Oh, that's a great message to leave everybody with. Oh, thank you so much. I do want to share your free gift because I want people to truly, like, not only did they get to experience you here, but also get to experience you in that way as well. You are gifting our viewers a wonderful gift called Liquid Gold Truth Transmissions. Can you just explain what it is when they click that free gift button, what they'll receive?
Yes, of course. Well, doesn't that title just say it all? It's so juicy. So, Liquid Gold Truth Transmission is 33 plus hours of divine wisdom teachings, meditations, activations, and there's also some purely instrumental frequency tracks in there with theta, gamma, and solfeggio tones, which essentially means that you can put on this lush, heavenly instrumental track. No spoken words. You can just melt into it and let your body, your system, and your somatic body come into harmonic accord and resonance without you having to do anything, to just go beyond the mind, focus on the breath, or just be and let the music harmonize you back into that space of peace to cultivate that harmony. So it's a beautiful gala of wisdom, of teachings, of the music of the cosmos for you to savor and to enjoy and to have a source of wisdom to inspire the wisdom within you and then also carry forward and apply in your life.
Oh, I love it. Oh, what a beautiful gift. Thank you for offering that to everybody who is watching. And just so that everybody knows, it's going to be in your featured speakers center, so it will be there for them to click on and just enjoy. Oh, I love that liquid gold truth. Like,
It's so delicious.
yes, I saw that and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that sounds so incredible."
It
So,
just, I love it. It like just all comes. I was like,
yes.
that's, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. Oh, Solara, thank you so much for just being here today, saying yes to wanting to just share like these beautiful messages. Like, really, it is such profound wisdom. And I wholeheartedly appreciate you just taking the time to do that. Honestly, not only for me, but for everyone else that's viewing. So thank you so much. So much gratitude from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Well, you're so, so, so welcome. And thank you for having me. Super, super grateful to be here and to just be immersing in the gift of you and the richness that you bring into my world through your presence. So thank you. And thank you, all of us. I love us all so much.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And thank you everybody who is watching today. So much love. I'm speaking a little bit for you, Solara, from me and Solara, all to everyone that is receiving all of these beautiful messages today. Thank you so much. And until next time, everyone, bye.